Are you ready to move the needle in your home service business? Listen, on today's episode, we have a special guest that is going to share some secrets of how to turn your CSRs into revenue generators. And listen, I'm not talking about this theory or strategy. I'm talking about exact things to do to generate revenue from your CSRs. This will absolutely add dollars to your bottom line, but there's a catch. You have to listen, and then you have to take action. So if you're willing to do that, let's jump in today and learn how to make your CSRs revenue generators. Let's go.
Running a home service business is hard. So how is it that some people make it look so easy? Well, we'll tell you. This is the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. It's always good to hear the wins that successful contractors have. But have you ever thought that the best advice would be to hear about the speed bumps they encountered, the mistakes they've made along the way? We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want you to be successful and avoid the mistakes others have made. Let's get this party started. Welcome to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Now your host, Justin Deese.
Welcome to Freedom Blueprint Podcast. I am your host, Justin Deese, and I am hanging out today with Brigham Dickinson from Power Selling Pros, and we're going to dig into a little bit of how that even started and what it looks like today. Brigham helps a lot of contractors move the needle. I'm not excluded from that list. I'm a customer. He has worked with our team before and done a phenomenal job. So I really wanted him in here to really kind of share what that looks like and how he can help you guys move your business forward. But Brigham, welcome, man.
Thank you very much.
Power Selling Pros. Before we get into the story of that, just real quick, 3 books, the author of 3 books. I will say as the author of 1 book, 3 books is really impressive because it's a lot of work. To write 3 books. And something that I don't know that I've ever told you this before, but here you go. It's recorded, so I'm going to say it, is Brigham is an amazing speaker. You're an amazing storyteller. So anytime that you get a chance to see Brigham on stage or in front of the room, definitely take that opportunity because you do a really, really good job of sharing and presenting and telling a story. So
thanks, Justin. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the story of Power Selling Pros. Like, how did that even come about?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. It's funny that you brought up the books as well. I'll tell you a side experience. The thing that motivates me to write books, because you're right, it's not an easy thing to do, especially if you're writing it yourself. And some of the 3, the book that came the easiest was the second one. The first one came about because Mark Madison said, "Hey, Brigham, your stuff's good, but you need to write it down." You know how Mark is. Mm-hmm. And then the last one was the most difficult for whatever reason. I had a hard time with it. I wanted to do another book. I wasn't sure what I was going to do it on. In fact, there was one point where I had an editor help me and he just called me out. He said, "Brigham, do you even know why you want to write this book?" It was painful. It was super painful. So for him to sit me down and go, "Okay, what are you looking to achieve? Why do you want to achieve it?" To really dig deep and to go for it. Each one has been a journey, but I'll tell you why I write these books is because my father-in-law, his name is Paul Rogers. Paul was a really good trainer and speaker in his day for the auto industry, known throughout the world as just very, very good. And he would teach sales and he'd teach internet transactions and so on and so forth. He was just super good, super popular. He died when he was 56 years old. He died young. And when he died, I reached out to his employer and I said, "Hey, send me all this stuff, right? All of his training and such. Just send me all the videos." And I didn't get a response. And I was like, "What the freak's going on?" So finally, I wrote a letter saying, "Hey, I've got a mentor. I've got a friend here that's been speaking for years. And not only but his entire family has nothing about what he did for you guys over a 20-year period. Will you please send me something, a recording, a video, anything? Well, finally, they responded and they said, it's crazy, but we have nothing. And I'm going, what are you talking about? This guy was a national internet sales trainer for Toyota for years, and you've got nothing? You've recorded nothing? Not one thing was recorded. And so in that moment, I told myself that my kids would have me on tape. They'd have me recorded. If they wanted to know where I stand on anything, all they need to do is go into Google and type in Brigham Dickinson, and they'd find enough on me to remember what I was about and what was important to me. Because it's interesting what people lose when they lose somebody, especially if they lose what he did, what he said, how he said it. We lost a lot that day. We lost a lot. And I just wanted to make sure that my kids always had me in one shape or form or another. And that's why I write the way that I write.
That's pretty powerful, man. And true. It is. I mean, and there's a lot of people, right? And you think about from, I'm going to shift to systems a little bit, but that's all a training system that he had and had built. And now it's just him as the technician, and now nobody takes that with him. So it's a good story.
So Power Selling Pro started in 2008 by accident. 2007 was an awesome year for most contractors. It was an awesome year for anybody in business. I can remember shoveling my walkway, living in Utah in the middle of the winter. And my neighbor was a mortgage broker. And he said, "Hey, Brigham, whatever you plan to do over the next 6 months financially, don't do it. Don't do anything risky. Don't do anything ambitious." And I'm sitting there shoveling my walk. And what he didn't know is I was in the middle of a merger with a company that professed to be able to do a manual J in 4 minutes or less. And I was so excited. I thought it was going to go gangbusters. And so, of course, I ignored every word he said. Merged my company in with this other company, moved my family, Justin. I moved my family from Utah to Florida. We lived in Lakeland, Florida. And within about 5 months in 2008, that organization, that company went kaput. I mean, we were paying our employees and not ourselves. And it was a brutal time. We had this season pass to Disney World. Supposed to be the happiest place on earth. I can remember being at the happiest place on earth, never more miserable in my entire life. It was the worst. But it was interesting. When you lose everything, it's funny how even though it's already gone, you're still white knuckling it because in your mind, it's all you have. And it's a lie. It's your mind, right? It's your mind telling you that there's nothing left, that this is it. This is the only way. And it's just not true. That there's so many ways to serve other people and make money doing it. And so I needed to lose it all for this accident to even be possible, right? For it to even come to fruition. And I can remember being on my I was staying at my brother-in-law's home in his basement on a cot. And I'm sitting on the edge of my cot, just going, dude, how the freak did I get here? And I was trying to get back home, right? I was going to start things back home and then move my family back home, but they were staying with a friend in Florida till I could figure out what we were going to do back in Utah. And so I'm sitting here on this cot and I drew the first version of the Pattern for Excellence. And this is the foundation tool we use for all of our coaching and training when it comes to coaching CSRs. And I'm looking at this thing going, man, this is really good. I just don't know what to do with it. I don't know how I'm going to use this, right? And so I got a call from Troy Nearing's Plumbing and Heating here in Utah. And the reason why he called me is because I had helped him start a digital marketing campaign. SEO and pay-per-click they were just getting started, and so I helped get that going. And so he brought me in and he said, Brigham, the leads are no good. And I said, what do you mean the leads are no good? Well, they just want a ballpark price. They just want to know what your charges come out. They just want to talk to a technician. I can't book these leads. So we got to put this advertising on hold. And I was like, well, wait a minute. They want a ballpark price on what? On the air conditioner. Okay. Isn't that what you sell? Yeah. Okay. So why aren't we booking those calls? He said, well, we obviously don't know how. And I said, well, you should train your team to book them. You shouldn't stop the advertising. You should train them on how to book those types of calls. Crazy thing, in 2008, that was all that was coming in. Those are the only leads that were coming in. And for those listening, this might sound somewhat familiar. In 2021, we had an awesome year, right? We may never have a year like that ever again. Sounds somewhat familiar to what was going on in 2007. But what's going on now, 2023, is pretty similar to what's going on in 2008. Everybody calling in wants a ballpark price. They just want to know charge to come out. Just want to talk to a technician. And without training, without ongoing accountability, they're not able to book those calls. And so back in 2008, out of necessity to keep this account, I said, let me train them. Let me train your people on how to book these calls. So I trained them on how to book those calls, and their call conversion went up 20%. And then
fantastic.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then Tom Robichaud called me, Precision Plumbing in Boulder, Colorado. He said, hey, I hear you're training Troy. You know how this industry is. Everybody knows everybody. If you do well, everybody's going to know about it. And Tom said, hey, I want you to come and work with my team. I said, sounds great, but I need to do your digital advertising. He says, well, I've got that covered, but I'll pay you to train my team, my CSRs. And of course, then the light bulb came up over my head. I was like, holy cow, I could start a business. And next thing you know, Mike Guglielmo calls me up and he says, I hear you're working with Tom and Troy. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, tell you what, if you do a good job for me, train my CSRs and do a good job, I'll make sure you're working with every contractor on the East Coast. And I was like, awesome. Next thing I know, I'm hiring all my friends. And Justin, I don't have a lot of friends. They're all working with me. And we started training CSRs one-on-one twice a month using their own phone calls. We take them through 4 levels of certification. It takes about a year and a half to complete. It's a bit of a university, but by the time we're done, they're booking calls, they're wowing customers, and of course we guarantee an 85% closing ratio. So the industry average is about 42% calls versus set appointments. What that means is all we need to do is book the calls that are already coming into our office. They're already there. It's the low-hanging fruit. If we can get our team to book those calls as opposed to losing them, man, it's going to make all the difference in the world at this time, right? The type of economic climate that we're facing right now.
And again, I know I said this earlier, but I want to say we worked with you back in originally maybe 2015, and we still have some CSRs that are around. That have gone through it, and they all still use and they all still have that pattern of excellence. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Great job on that. Time tested and it works. And yeah, as far as 85%, for anybody listening who, first of all, I think unfortunately there's a lot of contractors out there that don't even watch that. Like they don't know their booking rate, and that's so dangerous. Because the money that you're spending, even if you're not spending the money on marketing, let's say it's existing clients, which those should be even a higher booking rate. But now if you're not booking at an 85% rate, what is that costing your business? I mean, my goodness.
Yeah. We could do that, man, if you wanted. Let's say that you're getting 30 calls a day. And let's say that you're better than 42%. Because whenever I say 42% calls versus set appointments, every contractor that I talk to, they're like, there's no way. My customers love the CSRs. They're constantly raving about how nice and kind they are. Cool. Let's say you're at 60. Let's say you're at 60. Well, if you're getting 30 calls a day and you're booking 60% of them, then that's 18 calls a day that you're booking. Let's say that your average ticket's $500. Okay. So based on that math, you're making about $2.2 million a year. in revenue, gross revenue. Now, if we book 85% of our phone calls, instead of booking 18 of our 30 calls, we're booking 25.5 of the 30 calls. Same average ticket, $500. You do the same math, you're making $3.3 million. That's an extra $1 million a year when you go from 60% to 85%. And that's based off of a $500 ticket. We're not talking about $500 around here. Okay, replacement calls? What are you talking about? That's 18,000. That's 20,000. That's 25,000. It's super conservative. So in the back of your head, this is what I usually work with contractors is they go, I believe that we're at 85%. Cool. So the first thing that we like to do is we go into the abandoned call list and we reclassify those calls in order to get an accurate call conversion. When you do that, it's going to change your world, right? Because most of the time when I talk to a contractor, they say, you know what I need, Brigham? What do you need? I need more calls. Okay. What about the calls you're already getting? Oh yeah, we're good there. Cool. Do you mind if I have a team that go in and monitor those calls to make sure that you're good there? Once we help them see that that's it. That's where the low hanging fruit is at. It's just about monitoring those calls and providing accountability to those calls and to the performance of your CSRs on those calls.
So from a high level standpoint, if what software do you guys work in? A specific software? Do you have multiple softwares you work in out of? Which ones do you guys work in?
Yeah. So as long as we can monitor the call is recorded and we can get access to those calls. Essentially any platform that does that, just give us a username and password and we're good. The industry is such though, that Service Titan is the predominant one that we use. Just because that's what they're using.
Yeah, they definitely have a, there's probably 3 or 4 of the top ones, and Service Titan is definitely the one that I think most larger contractors, obviously there's smaller contractors that aren't using it, which actually brings me up to another question. What is the best size business, or I guess the minimum size business for you guys to really be able to help?
If you've got one CSR, we can help you.
Okay.
If you're answering your own phone calls, we can help you. What you do is you just work with our sister company, Booked, what we do is we train the CSR to answer the phones for you. So in the event that you don't have CSRs or you don't want CSRs, just work with the sister company. About 3 years ago, we had several contractors say, you know what would be great if you just answered the phones for us. I know this is completely unheard of in this industry, where you have a contractor who just says, you know what, just do it for me. Never happens. But we started listening to our clients who kept clamoring for us to just answer the phones for them. And so we built up a team, started answering phones, and we have a dedicated CSR for each company. We don't have them answer for multiple companies. Once you hire Booked, it is one CSR for that company. And they've got a 92% booking ratio, which is crazy. It's unheard of in the call handling or the answering service industry to have those types of numbers. And the reason why is because they use the same process, right? Same pattern for excellence. But I guess the short answer to your question is it doesn't matter the size. I mean, we work with Horizon. We train all their CSRs. We work with Tommy Mello's group. They've got well over 70 CSRs. And we've got several companies that have no CSRs, 1 CSR, 5 CSRs. It doesn't matter. If they answer the phones, they pick up the phone. If you get calls that are coming in, one way or the other, we can help you.
I think that's a really good range. And I actually did not know that you guys were doing the call center now. So that even makes it even a lower hanging, to where even if you're just getting started in the industry and you're like, I've got to have, because really when you're one guy in a truck, that's really crucial, because now whatever you're spending is, I mean, let's be honest, it's coming out of your pocket. Where when you get a little bit larger, there's a little bit more of a forgiveness, I guess I could say, but from a smaller one. So how does that, you said booked, how would somebody find out more information about that?
Yeah, just go to bookedbypsp.com. Barry Gates is the CEO of Booked. Barry Gates is well known in the industry, but he's your guy, the guy that you would talk to. But if you go to bookedpsp.com, you can schedule a demo with him, and he'll show you how it works.
Great.
I don't know,
I'll make sure and put that in the show notes too.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the Eagle's Nest?
I'm not.
All right. So it's a group of contractors.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I am. I do know who they are.
Okay. So most of those guys have turned to Booked as of late. And the reason why is, when you get up to 20 CSRs, 30 CSRs, it gets expensive, super expensive. And so, and you may need 30 during the summertime and only 20 during the off season or during the shoulder season. And so it just makes it really difficult for them to do, especially when you're paying employee taxes and benefits and workers' compensation and, you name it. But when you work with Booked, you're working with a team that you don't have to pay workers' comp for. You don't have to pay employee taxes for. It's a dedicated CSR to your organization for $3,200 a month, flat. And they book 92% of their phone calls. It's crazy. It's unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, if your company now is booking at less than 70%, that's a self-liquidating offer, right? I mean, if they turn to your team, they're automatically going to make an instant ROI on that deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So Booked is a good fit for them.
So for anybody listening, what are maybe two mistakes or two things that you see contractors doing from a answering side of things or booking side of things that they could probably take a look at and say, you know what, I probably need to fix this.
Yeah.
What are two?
So number one, they need to hold their CSRs accountable. With or without us, somebody should be monitoring their calls on a regular basis and providing feedback and coaching based on the performance or the lack thereof on those calls on a regular basis, at least twice a month. And that's the mistake they make. They just don't do it. They do a great job training techs. Most businesses in our industry are awesome at staying disciplined with tech training. And it's the CSRs that get left behind, they get ignored. So that's problem number one. Number two is they don't allow CSRs, dispatchers, lead coordinators to have control over their own income. And what I mean by that is they need to have the ability to make as much money as they want to make, just like a technician does, just like a comfort advisor does, right? They should be paid on performance. And here's how we get that started. We allow them to begin to sell memberships over the phone. Okay. And it's simple. This is what you say to a homeowner when you're on the phone with them. Mr. Jones, I'm looking at your notes. I noticed that we've been out to your home a couple of times over the last year. I'm just wondering why you don't have a membership with us. Now, let's say that you ask that very same question. You're very disciplined and you ask it to let's just stick with 30 calls. Okay. If you're getting 30 calls a day, you are asking every one of those homeowners on each of those calls, all 30 of them, that same question. I'm looking at your notes. I notice you don't have a membership with us. I'm wondering why not. You see, it prevents things like this, the thing that you're dealing with right now, from happening. Best time to sell a membership, right, is right then over the phone, because that's when they're feeling the emotional angst. Now, let's say that out of the 30, you've got 20 who say, no, thanks. That's fine. You're not going to push it. You're not going to be pushing anybody over the phone. But what that means is you've got 10 people, 10 homeowners that all say, well, tell me more about it. What's this club membership all about? Well, it's awesome. You come out in the spring, we come out in the fall, make sure it's running at peak efficiency. You get priority service whenever you call in. We put you in the front of the line. And the coolest part about it is it prevents things like this, the thing that you're dealing with right now, from happening. Now, if you want it, I'd get you going on it. It's simple, easy. Just need your credit card number. Now, let's say that 2 out of the 10 decide to move forward. Now, if you pay me as a CSR that sells those each day, if you pay me $10 a pop, that means I just made $20 today. Okay. Now, if I sell 2 5 days a week, I just made $100. You times that by 50. Now, I know that there's 52 weeks in a year, but we don't work 52 weeks. So let's just say 50. That's $5,000 a year. You guys, what could your CSRs do with an extra $5,000 a year?
And what impact does that make on your business to have that many additional memberships? And that math is per CSR.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's impactful. So let me ask you this. Why do you feel like most business owners don't invest in the CSRs the same way as they do the technicians?
Lack of focus. Their focus is on the tech. Their focus is on Comfort Advisor, and they're only one person. And it's not, look, let me give you, say, for example, Simpson Salute, Chad Simpson, smart guy, intelligent guy, super articulate. His company's growing. He comes to us at, I think it was at Lennox Live, and he said, "Hey, Brigham, I have finally come to grips with the fact that I am never going to give my CSRs the attention that I give my technicians. And I need you to do that for me." And it was crazy too, because we were at a breakout, and he stood up at the end of the breakout. He said, "You guys, I got to be honest with you. I had Power Slam Pros for a year, and then I stopped it. And I'm here to tell you that it was a mistake, because I'm never going to give my CSRs the attention that they deserve." And he said, "And I'm going to be the first one that signs up here." It was the coolest thing ever, because there's like 5 other contractors that signed up right after he did. It was perfect. And sure enough, he signed up. And since he signed up, all of his friends call in and say, "Hey, I want the same deal as Chad. I want the same deal as Chad. I want the same deal as Chad." They just know in their heart of hearts they're not going to give the CSR attention. And if they don't, it's you're leaving money on the table. And he knew it. I know it. We all know it. We leave money on the table if we don't hold them accountable. So I don't know if that answers your question or not, Justin.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what comes to mind.
And I think that really a lot of what your team does for business owners is it helps put that magnifying glass on the CSRs and start to show them as the revenue generators that they can be.
Yeah. The club membership's the gateway drug. I hate to put it that way, but once the CSR gets a taste of their ability to control their own income, now we get them focused in on, "Hey, Mr. Jones, say somebody calls in for plumbing. Did you also know that we do heating and cooling?" You want every CSR to do that. Well, you guys, if they're incentivized to do it, if they see a number on their paycheck each month that indicates how it was positively affected, their income was positively affected by the fact that they brought up that you also do heating and cooling. Now you've just opened up the floodgates. We ask technicians to book Comfort Advisor leads all the time. Our CSRs can do that. "Hey, Mr. Jones, I'm looking at your notes. I noticed that we've been working on the same system for the last 12 years. Have you ever considered replacing your system? The technology today is a whole lot more advanced than it used to be. If you wanted, I could also set up a Comfort Advisor appointment." If we are paying our techs to do that, why don't we pay our CSRs to do that?
For that example too, I think what's really good is from a customer, let's say, even if the customer says, "I don't really know," and now the technician gets out there, now that customer has heard that twice. And that is so impactful. They're like, "You know what? I feel like I've heard that before somewhere."
Yeah, exactly. And let's say they do say yes over the phone. "You know what? I would be interested." And let's say as a CSR, I get them approved for financing. Imagine a Comfort Advisor that goes out to a customer's home already knowing what they have to work with as far as a budget is concerned on a new system.
I just got chills when you said that. It's like a salesman's dream, right? Like you go, oh, well, they already want to buy, and now I know exactly how much they have to spend, and now I'm going to build the option based on what best suits their budget, because that's the biggest question, and that's now gone.
Yeah. Get to the point where you're paying your CSRs just a small base, and then let them make as much money as they want to make over the phone.
I mean, you hear stories about companies that have CSRs that are in the six figures, and this is how they do it. I think a lot of times when business owners hear that, they're like, who can afford to pay a CSR that kind of money? Well, you can't if you're not giving them performance pay and having their focus on being revenue generators. But I can tell you the ones that are throwing up big numbers and that are personally making good money, man, they're going to that business every day thinking, I am a revenue generator and I'm going to go crush this.
Yeah. Working on commission is very scary. It's daunting. But if you can create baby steps, a system of baby steps. Okay, this is how we take CSRs and make them technicians. This is how we take technicians and make them comfort advisors. We give them little breadcrumbs along the way. I mean, this is the very first time that you and I have talked about this, or that a contractor has ever considered this, that your CSR department could be a means for you to grow your technician department. It could be a way for you to grow your comfort advisor department. You just need to make them a part of your selling process now.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So Brigham, for anybody listening who is going, holy cow, I need Power Selling Pros in my life to positively impact my business, how would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, just go to powersellingpros.com. There's a demo link right on the front page. It's flashing and blinking. Just click on that demo and schedule a time for us to talk about your business, what it's doing, and see if there's a fit.
That's fantastic. Brigham, any final words before we jump off here?
No, grateful for the opportunity. Just always a pleasure.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. And for anybody listening, all this information will be in the show notes. So go in there. If you're not working with Power Selling Pros, go check out that link and give it a try, man. I promise you, as a customer, you will be happy that you did, and your bottom line of your business will be happy that you did as well. So, Brigham, appreciate your time, man.
Appreciate you.
Well, that was a lot of really good information that Brigham shared with us, and obviously, the CSR role in our industry and our businesses is such a crucial role, right? I mean, if they don't do their job really well and they're not booking jobs, then nothing else happens. So as far as the flywheel goes, if they're not answering the phone and they're not booking the call, nothing else in the business happens. There's no technicians going to the job. There's no transactions that are happening, and ultimately no money coming into your business. So it's definitely a really important part of the business is I think we all know, I think all of us know that that's an important part of it. But I think it's one of those deals where sometimes we just kind of forget to put the highlight on it, right? And the CSRs are such a crucial role. And listen, again, I know I said this a couple times earlier in the episode, but I have worked personally with Brigham and his team. They are phenomenal. They are a great organization to work with. I would highly, highly recommend them. And really, they will help give the attention that your CSRs want and that they deserve, quite frankly. I think it's a good reminder. This episode was a really good reminder to praise your CSR. So when you go back to your office next time, praise them, buy them lunch, thank them for what they do, because it is not an easy job for sure. So anyways, a couple little things on a recap of the episode today. It was neat kind of hearing the evolution of Power Selling Pros. And, really any great business typically starts with this need. And that's really what happened with Brigham. He was doing this one thing and then started doing a little bit of coaching and training and realized there was such a need in the space for it, and has been able to capitalize. And again, his team is really good. That's why they've grown the way they have. I mean, you don't grow because you're not good. You grow because you're very good at what you do. Another thing we talked about was the importance of monitoring the CSRs, right? Monitoring, holding them accountable. You've got to make sure that they know what their KPIs are. I talk about this a lot on all the episodes, but you have to make sure that your team knows what a win looks like. And if you just hire a CSR and you're like, there's the phone, book the calls, call me if you need anything, you're really not doing them the justice that they need. And you're certainly not giving them the tools they need to succeed. So they need to know what the performance KPIs are, and then they need to be held accountable to it as well. Another thing was the benefit of implementing performance-based pay system for your CSRs. It was a really good point, right? Everybody else's performance pay, from the techs to a lot of times the installers, to obviously the comfort advisors or salespeople. So why not let them win? Let them sell, let them book, pay them based on booking rate. What gets paid gets paid attention to. So if you'll highlight that a little bit and give them the opportunity to make more money, I think you'll see a pretty amazing result that comes out of that. And that kind of ties into the next little bullet point that I wrote down, which is really using the CSRs to upsell memberships and additional services. If you're working with them on how to sell and how to upsell memberships, and really, again, how to set the stage for the tech. I mean, you got to think, when they call in and they have this amazing experience with your CSR, one, that's going to make it easier for your technician when he gets out there. But two, even if they're not able to sell a maintenance agreement or membership or whatever you and your business call it, if they even start seeding it, that's going to help the technician. So their job is to really help set the stage for the next person in your business that is going to interact with that customer. And I think that's really impactful. And again, I think that really ties to implementing some bonus or performance pay for your CSRs. So I hope that you got some really good nuggets out of this, and I hope that you take action, right? Like, that's the whole point of this podcast, is to share things with everybody here and then for you to go take action. We can share with you, but we can't take the action for you. So ball's in your court now. Go take some action. But listen, until next time, keep setting those goals and watch your business and leadership transform. This is Justin Deese signing off from the Freedom Blueprint podcast. Stay motivated, stay focused, and as always, keep crushing it.
You've been listening to the Freedom Blueprint podcast. Information is useless if not applied. So take what you've learned and go and implement it. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on social media at Freedom Blueprint for Home Services, and hit the website at www.freedomblueprintpodcast.com. See you next time.